everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going deep on something called the Secret Doctrine hidden within the Bible.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so our source for this deep dive is a book from 1919
Okay.
called Melchizedek,
Right.
or The Secret Doctrine of the Bible by J.C. Grumbine. And it basically says that like the Bible isn't just like a bunch of stories, but a whole plan for spiritual understanding.
Right. Yeah. Like a blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. A blueprint. And it's got like a hidden meaning woven throughout it that like we're going to try and unlock.
That's the idea. It's a really interesting book for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Lots of interesting insights in it.
Okay, well, let's start then with this mysterious figure of Melchizedek. Who is he and why is he so important?
Well, even in the Bible, Melchizedek is like shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
You know, he just like pops up briefly to bless Abraham
Right.
and get tithes from him. But there's no mention of like where he came from or his family.
Yeah, I remember that passage.
Yeah.
It always stood out to me how different it was from the usual like
genealogy and stuff.
Yeah, and that like lack of background has made people wonder about him for centuries. Some people think he was an angel. Some people think he was like this pre-Adamic figure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, or like a manifestation of God. But Grumbine takes a different approach. He suggests that Melchizedek represents the Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit. That's an interesting interpretation. What makes him say that?
Well, think about it. Melchizedek appears out of nowhere, blesses Abraham, and then vanishes.
Right.
He doesn't have a physical lineage, but he embodies spiritual power that's passed down through generations.
Kind of like the Holy Spirit.
Exactly.
Which, is often described as a guiding force.
That's right. And this idea of divine inheritance, like something spiritual being passed down, is crucial to understanding the Secret Doctrine.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all connects.
Yeah.
So we've got this mysterious figure, Melchizedek, who embodies the Holy Spirit, represents a kind of spiritual inheritance.
Right. But how does this lead to the Order of Melchizedek?
Well, the Order of Melchizedek expands on this idea of divine inheritance.
Okay.
It's presented as a lineage of prophets and spiritual figures from Abraham to Jesus who inherited this special connection to the divine.
So it's not like a bloodline.
Right.
It's more like a spiritual lineage.
Yeah, exactly. The lineage of those who carry the torch of spiritual wisdom, guiding humanity towards a higher understanding. And this order isn't for everyone.
Okay.
It represents a direct connection to the divine, a level of spiritual authority that sets its members apart.
I see. Now that we understand who Melchizedek is and what this order represents, let's delve deeper into the Secret Doctrine itself.
Okay.
What exactly is it and how does it relate to all of this?
So the Secret Doctrine is essentially a hidden wisdom,
Okay.
a deeper understanding of the universe and our place within it.
Okay.
Grumbine argues that this wisdom, which he sometimes refers to as gnosis, has been passed down through the ages, concealed in myths, symbols, and even architecture.
Oh, wow.
It was taught orally and veiled in metaphor to protect it from those who weren't ready to receive it.
So like secret knowledge hidden in plain sight.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. It reminds me of all those like conspiracy theories.
Right.
But how does Grumbine think we can unlock this secret doctrine?
He provides a framework for understanding it, which involves exploring the four planes of existence.
Okay.
The physical, the mental, the psychic, and the divine.
Okay.
Think of it like this. You have your physical body, but you also have your thoughts and emotions, your intuition, and a spark of the divine within you.
Right.
Each of these represents a different plane of existence.
Okay. I'm following so far. But how do these planes connect to the Secret Doctrine and the Bible itself?
Okay, so Grumbine connects these planes to the layout of Solomon's temple.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine yourself walking through the temple.
Okay.
The outer court, representing the physical plane, is where everyday life takes place. As you move inward, you enter the court of the priests, symbolizing the mental plane, where intellectual understanding is developed. Deeper still is the holy place, representing the psychic plane, where intuition and deeper spiritual experiences begin to emerge.
Okay.
And finally, at the very heart of the temple lies the Holy of Holies, representing the divine plane, where union with the divine is achieved.
So Solomon's temple isn't just a building, but a symbolic representation of our own spiritual journey.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And each of these planes is associated with a specific element and principle.
Okay.
For example, the physical plane is associated with earth and the principle of manifestation, while the mental plane is associated with air and the principle of thought.
Right.
The psychic plane is linked to water and the principle of emotion, while the divine plane is connected to fire and the principle of spirit.
This is starting to get pretty complex. It's amazing how he weaves all these different elements together.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
But what does this all mean for us, practically speaking? How can we use this understanding of the 4 planes in our own lives?
Well, for one thing, it helps us understand the different levels at which we operate and the different ways we experience the world.
Okay.
For example, if you're feeling stuck in a rut, it might be because you're too focused on the physical plane on material concerns.
Okay.
By cultivating your mental and psychic faculties through practices like meditation or contemplation, you can access higher levels of understanding and connect with your inner wisdom.
So it's about becoming aware of these different planes and consciously choosing to operate from a higher level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where the Secret Doctrine comes in.
Okay.
It offers tools and techniques for navigating these planes, for expanding our awareness and connecting with our divine potential.
This is all incredibly fascinating. We've covered a lot of ground, from the mysterious figure of Melchizedek to the concept of the Secret Doctrine and the 4 planes of existence. But I have a feeling there's still much more to explore.
There is. Yeah. But maybe let's take a moment to digest all of this before we delve deeper into the Secret Doctrine's teachings on the soul's journey and the nature of miracles.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, my mind is like swirling with all this stuff about Melchizedek,
Yeah.
the Secret Doctrine, and Solomon's Temple.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah, for sure. Before we move on, though,
Okay.
can we circle back to this idea of gnosis?
Sure. Yeah.
You mentioned it before as another name for the Secret Doctrine. What exactly does that word even mean?
So gnosis is an ancient Greek word. It basically means knowledge.
Okay.
But it's not like just regular knowledge.
Right.
It's like a deep inner knowing, a direct experience of spiritual truth.
Okay.
I think a good way to think about it is you can read about the ocean,
Okay.
study the tides and the currents,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't really know the ocean until you jump in and experience it.
Right, yeah.
So gnosis is like that. It's not just intellectual.
It's like an experience.
Exactly. And that's what the Secret Doctrine is all about, guiding us to this direct experience of the divine, this gnosis that's at the heart of all these spiritual traditions.
That makes sense. Now, you mentioned earlier that the Secret Doctrine has some things to say about the soul's journey.
Right.
Can we get into that a little?
Yeah, definitely. The Secret Doctrine has a pretty interesting view of birth, death, and rebirth.
Okay.
It sees it as a cycle of spiritual evolution
Okay.
and describes 3 stages of this journey.
Mm-hmm.
So first, the soul is in the Father,
Okay.
which represents the divine source, or pure consciousness.
Okay.
Then it goes down into the Mother, symbolized by the womb, where it takes on a physical form.
Mm.
Finally, the soul is born into the world,
Right.
where it experiences life and gathers wisdom.
So it's like a journey of going down and then coming back up.
Yeah,
A movement from spiritual to material and then
Yeah.
back to spiritual.
exactly. Grumbine actually connects this to that myth of the phoenix,
Oh.
the bird that rises from its own ashes.
Right.
He uses a couple of terms. Involution
Mm-hmm.
is what he calls that initial descent of the soul into matter.
Okay.
And then evolution is for its ascent back to the spiritual realm.
So it's like a seed planting itself in the ground
Yeah.
before it sprouts and grows.
Exactly.
A spiritual descent before an ascent.
A spiritual descent before an ascent.
Right. This concept of involution coming before evolution is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
It kind of suggests that all our experiences in the material world
Mhm.
are super important to our spiritual growth.
That's right. It's through our interactions with the physical world,
Yeah.
with all its challenges and joys,
Yeah.
that we learn and evolve.
Okay.
And our souls are refined.
So we're not supposed to hide from the world. We should
No.
fully engage with it.
Yeah, engage with it fully as a way to learn and grow.
It's a way to learn and grow spiritually.
Right. The material world is like a classroom,
Right.
and our experiences are the lessons.
The lessons that teach us and help us grow.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. What about miracles, though?
Okay.
How does the Secret Doctrine explain all that supernatural stuff?
So this is where Grumbine's view gets really interesting.
Okay.
He says that true miracles aren't like breaking natural law,
Okay.
but they're expressions of the soul's divine power operating under higher laws.
So it's not that Jesus was exempt from the laws of nature or something.
Right.
It's that he was operating from a higher level of understanding.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Grumbine calls this supernormalism.
Supernormalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It refers to abilities that are beyond our normal senses, but are still explainable in a spiritual framework.
Okay.
It's like, we know electricity exists,
Right.
but we can't see it.
Right.
But we see its effects when we turn on the lights.
Exactly, yeah.
So similarly, supernormal abilities are like these hidden forces in a spiritual dimension.
Okay.
And their effects show up in the physical world as miracles.
So they're not necessarily magical. It's more like they're tapping into a deeper reality.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what's really cool is that Grumbine thinks these abilities are open to all of us.
Wait, so you're saying we all have the potential to perform miracles?
Yeah. It's a bold claim,
That's pretty wild.
but it fits with the main message of the Secret Doctrine,
Okay.
which is that we all have a spark of the divine inside us.
Right. Okay, but how do we actually do that?
Right.
How do we get these supernormal abilities? Like, what are the steps?
So Grumbine introduces this thing called Christ psychology,
Christ psychology, okay.
which is basically a way to reach our divine potential.
Okay.
It's not about worshiping Jesus as like a historical dude,
Okay.
but about recognizing the Christ inside all of us,
Okay.
that divine spark.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
It all comes back to this idea of recognizing and cultivating our own divinity.
That's it. And that's where practices like meditation and contemplation come in. They help us quiet the mind, connect with our inner wisdom, and access that deeper level of awareness where these abilities can come out.
So it's not about learning some secret formula or doing rituals. It's about being in a certain state, connecting with the divine within.
Exactly. It's about aligning our thoughts, feelings, and actions with our highest spiritual goals, with the divine will.
But isn't there a risk in going after these supernormal abilities? Like, what if someone used them for bad stuff?
Right. That's a good question. And Grumbine talks about that.
Okay.
He says that true spiritual power is never about selfish stuff.
Okay.
It's about service, compassion, and using our gifts to make the world a better place.
So it's not just about getting these abilities.
Right.
It's about using them the right way.
Exactly. For a higher purpose.
Ethically and responsibly.
And that takes humility, discipline, and a deep understanding of how everything is connected.
Wow. So it's not just about changing ourselves, but about helping everyone wake up.
Exactly.
A collective awakening.
Right. And that brings us back to the order of Melchizedek.
Right.
Remember, it's not just a historical lineage, it's a spiritual one. It's a group of people who dedicated themselves to these higher qualities and using them for good.
So we could all be part of this order in a way, called to live by these principles and make the world a better place.
Exactly. The Secret Doctrine invites us to see that Melchizedek within each of us.
Okay.
The spark that connects us all and empowers us to make a more harmonious and compassionate world.
This is all so inspiring, but I feel like there's still so much more to uncover here.
Yeah, definitely.
Can we talk about, like, the practical stuff?
Sure.
How can we use these teachings in our lives?
Yeah, we can definitely get into that. But maybe let's pause here for a second and let all this sink in before we move on.
Phew. Okay. I think I finally wrapped my head around all that about the soul's journey and supernormalism. It's heavy stuff, huh?
It is. Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
But it's also, like, really exciting to think about all that potential we have.
Right. That's what's so cool about Grumbine's work. He doesn't just talk about these ideas. He actually wants us to use them.
So how do we do that? It's easy to understand the theory, but how do we connect these ancient teachings to our lives today?
Well, remember that idea of Solomon's Temple as like a map for our spiritual journey? Each court, each chamber is a different level of awareness.
Yeah.
A different plane.
Right.
We can use this to figure out where we are on our path and where we want to go.
So if we feel stuck, it might be because we're too focused on those outer courts.
Exactly. The physical and material stuff.
Right.
And when that happens, we can turn inward to the mental and psychic realms.
Okay.
We can meditate, contemplate, pray to connect with that inner wisdom.
So it's like we have a map, a guidebook,
Yeah,
but we have to actually go on the journey ourselves.
exactly. The Secret Doctrine gives us the tools, but we have to use them.
It's not going to happen automatically.
Right. It takes effort, dedication,
Yeah.
a willingness to face our limits.
That makes sense. It's so easy to get distracted by everyday stuff and forget about those spiritual goals. How do we keep that spark alive? That yearning for the divine?
One way is to pay attention to synchronicities.
Synchronicities.
Yeah, those meaningful coincidences that pop up.
Oh, right.
They're like whispers from the universe guiding us.
I like that. It's like being open to those little signs.
Yeah, those moments that tell us we're on the right path.
Exactly. And being grateful, too.
Oh, absolutely. Gratitude is huge.
Recognizing the good stuff in our lives.
Right. That shifts our whole perspective.
Helps us see the divine in everything.
Even in the tough times.
So it's not about chasing those big spiritual moments.
Yeah.
It's about finding the sacred in the everyday.
Exactly. The divine is all around us. It's in the sunshine, the laughter of kids, the kindness of strangers.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
It reminds us that the journey itself is what matters.
That's it. And remember, the secret doctrine isn't just about us changing ourselves.
Right. It's about making the world a better place.
Exactly. Embodying those Melchizedek qualities.
Service and compassion.
Yeah.
So what does that look like in real life? How do we put these teachings into action?
It starts with small acts of kindness,
Okay.
showing compassion to everyone.
Even the difficult people.
Even the difficult people.
Yeah.
Using our gifts to help others.
Whether it's through work or relationships.
Or just listening to someone.
It's about realizing we're all connected, part of something bigger.
Yes. And our actions have a ripple effect.
We might not even see it.
Right. And as we connect with the divine, as we live by the secret doctrine, those ripples get stronger.
So it's not just about what we do, it's
Right.
about who we become.
Exactly. It's about aligning with the divine will, becoming channels for love, wisdom, compassion.
That's a powerful image. It feels like a call to action,
It is.
like a challenge to step up and really live these teachings.
And it's a journey we can all take, no matter who we are or what we believe.
Right.
The secret doctrine reminds us that we're not just physical, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And we all have that potential to connect with that divine spark, to make a positive difference in the world.
So for everyone listening who's feeling inspired, what's the next step? Where do we go from here?
Explore. Delve deeper into the secret doctrine. Read Grumbine or look into other traditions that speak to you.
Okay.
Meditate. Contemplate. Connect with nature.
Yeah.
Notice the synchronicities. Listen to your soul. And most importantly, take action. Even a small step.
It's about trusting the process, letting that inner spark guide us.
Exactly. And remember, you're not alone. There's a whole lineage of seekers, the Order of Melchizedek, who've walked this path before.
A lineage that's open to everyone who's willing to do the work.
That's right. The secret doctrine isn't a secret club. It's an invitation to awaken, to embrace the divine within, to create a better world.
That's a perfect way to wrap up. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and for guiding us through this deep dive.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
And to everyone listening, keep seeking, keep questioning, keep unlocking those secrets inside you.
The journey's just beginning. Until next time, keep exploring those mysteries of the universe and the power within each of us.